I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on GBN, we're sharing an extraordinary true story of survival and strength. The name of the book, To Hell and Back. It is written by a terrific author. Her name is Gaetana Zanzonico. And in this gripping memoir, she takes us inside the life of a high school senior whose dreams are shattered by a devastating nightclub fire that leaves her burned, but not broken and not beaten. Through unimaginable pain, Gaetana finds the courage to rebuild and to reclaim her life and graduate high school against all odds. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her on TV today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. Gaetana, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Crawford. It's nice to meet you in person.
It's nice to meet you as well, virtually or in person.
Yes.
And this is such a amazing story. Let's go back to that night of the fire. Where were you? What happened?
I was at the club, which was called the Great Gildersleeves, and I was to meet my friends. We were celebrating a happy time in which I was to sign with a modeling agency in a week. So my friends were to meet me, and we were to see a band that we knew that was playing. And at that time, the band had used pyrotechs,
Hmm.
and a devastating fire erupted, and I was severely burned, which changed my whole destiny.
Yeah. Amazing, amazing. Pyrotechnics in a concert, they don't mix, particularly in smaller nightclubs. It happened up in Rhode Island. I think 100 people died. And it
Yeah.
happened in Brooklyn at Gildersleeves is what you was the club you were at, right?
This was Great Gildersleeves on the Bowery in New York City.
In Manhattan. Gotcha, gotcha. How many other people were injured, do you know?
There were seven of us, but two of us, we were severely burned, second and third degree. Horrific,
Yeah, I know from my
traumatic.
years of the news reporting, there is no more painful injury than being burned. So you went through hell and back, no doubt.
Exactly. Nothing
Yeah,
but raw skin.
unbelievable. How long were you hospitalized?
I was hospitalized for 2 months,
Hmm.
St. Vincent's Hospital.
2 months and 2 months of agony.
Agonizing pain,
Yeah, yeah,
just blood, totally blood, and agonizing pain, raw burns, just trying to survive day by day.
and that is a miracle in and of itself because
Yeah.
survival is not taken for granted when somebody is severely burned. The risk of infection is great, and that's what you were
Intensely
encountering.
great.
In addition to agonizing pain, there was this great risk of infection. What percentage of your body was burned?
I was actually burned 56% of my body.
Good God. Good God.
I have to
Now,
say it was a miracle because at first I actually passed. I died actually, but it wasn't my time.
hmm,
And I was sent back. And
yeah.
I wrote that in my book of what experience I had. And and it was just very devastating.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. You're 18 years old, you're everybody, no matter how pretty you are, is insecure about their looks at that point.
Yeah,
It's like you're shaping your identity. Then this fire comes, you're looking at whatever parts of your body are burned.
yeah.
Mentally as well, it must have been a nightmare, right?
Physically and mentally.
Yeah.
I felt my whole life was over. Like I wanted to give up, but my inner strength and spirit stood tough and helped me day by day in healing and moving forward. And that's why I actually wrote this book to
Hmm.
inspire young adults through their pain that they go through.
Yeah. What, how helpful were your parents and your family during this time?
My family came up and saw me and gave me words of encouragement. but my friends brought nothing but joy and
Mm.
laughter. At that time, they were all rockers, so it was like long hair and rock and roll
Yeah.
encouragement. And I had like 20 friends at a time coming to surround my bed and giving me hope and encouragement to continue to move on. And you can do it and be a
Mhm.
fighter. And
Yeah.
sure enough, all that filled me with strength and perseverance in accomplishing the healing and actually finding my way back into life.
2 months in the hospital, but the journey's not over. What's it like once you get out of the hospital?
A lot of physical therapy, a lot of catching up with regents I had missed taking in school. I had to take those. Um, and then graduation. I actually reached my goal of graduating high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. And tell us what graduation day was like. I know that's a pivotal part in most people's lives. You had to face unbelievable challenges to get there.
Yes. Um, at the time, I had to be wearing a skin jacket, which is a jacket that helps the healing skin stay flattened. So I had a skin jacket in the heat of the weather. Um,
Yeah.
and then we had the graduation gown too. So we all met. It was at the church we had our graduation, which was St. Joseph High School.
Mm.
I was very nervous because since I was there with my class, I know all eyes were on me since everyone had read the story in the
Yeah.
newspapers. And then my name was called in the row, and I stood up, and I was so elated that everyone was standing up and clapping for me
Wow.
as I walked down the aisle to receive my diploma. Um, it brought tears of joy and happiness. And and I said to myself, I made it. I actually
Mm.
made it out of there.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping my story is a great inspiration for all that goes through trauma,
Yeah.
extreme severe trauma.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's extremely inspirational. Your drive never to give up. And, obviously, you're in the hospital for 2 months, you're in rehab after that. But this is something you kind of deal with and cope with for the rest of your life in many levels as well, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because of scars and still painful or no longer painful?
The memories are painful,
Yeah.
but moving forward, it brings joy because as the years went on, I would search for plastic surgeons, how to reduce the scarring. And
Mm,
scarring you really can't reduce because any deform on the redness, just any kind of surgery would make it more red, so it would
mm,
be more intense.
mm,
And then as I went on, I actually started seeing sleeves of tattoos.
mm,
So at the point, I've actually drew my own tattoos
mm.
on just the areas that were still burned, how can I say, with scars from third degree.
Yeah.
Third degree, I had to get skin grafts
Mm.
because when you're burned third degree, you're burned down to the bone and
Ah,
there's no way to heal. So with those areas that were healed, they remained with deep scarring. And
yeah.
so I made beautiful pictures of butterflies and flowers, and I
Mm,
found a great artist to do tattoos, and they just look beautiful.
yeah.
I love it.
Wonderful. Wonderful. What's your life like today?
Well, today I had, as the years passed, I got married. I had three handsome sons,
Hmm.
which I adore. Now they're young men,
Hmm.
much older. I also, um, I didn't go into modeling, but I went into acting. So
Hmm.
I became an actress
Hmm.
and I fulfilled. my destiny in being in the public eye,
Yeah.
in various categories of acting.
Hmm.
And now, as I'm older, I've been writing a lot, and I directed my first film this past summer, which is called The Penny. And I'm very excited in moving forward and bringing my stories to life too.
Yeah. What about your own story? What about your life story as a movie? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about crafting that perhaps into a screenplay or something?
Well, I took the book to Helen back and I wrote it into a script. And a lot of my friends have read it and they said, oh, it's so graphic
Hmm.
that it would be great as a series.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping at some point to try and present it to Netflix
Yep.
as a series. And
Yeah.
it will continue from the book into the present um, as my life went on after
Yeah.
graduation.
Yeah, I think it would be a wonderful story, a wonderful book. I don't know if people remember that fire that well. It's so funny, you hear something on the news and you say nobody was killed, but six people are injured. What you
Yes,
don't realize is those six people are injured, are dealing with those injuries perhaps for the rest of their lives in some cases. You
yes.
know, that being injured can be very, very bad. And unless somebody dies in a fire, yeah, I don't think it really has that impression on people. Do you kind of agree with that?
I do agree with that because
Yeah.
you can also just die from soot, the
Yeah.
inhaling of soot too.
Yeah.
So I was very thankful to St. Vincent's Hospital. They were just enormously caring, all the nurses, and
Yeah.
they always gave me hope in it's like when at first when I felt that I just wanted to die and give up from the
Yeah.
pain, agonizing pain, because they shoot you with morphine constantly. But raw skin, you just can't like
Yeah.
it can't stop the pain. Your
Right.
skin's raw and it's bleeding out constantly.
Ah,
So
horrible. Absolutely horrible.
like my
Absolutely.
inner spirit, my strength helped me through perseverance in this
Yeah.
in healing.
Yeah. I imagine you mentioned St. Joseph's as your school. Did your faith, was that helpful as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, my faith was very helpful, especially when I had passed on. I was actually stopped through the tunnel and was told, it's not your time.
Hmm.
And then I woke up. It was like 2 days later, and on my bed, my bed was just covered in blood.
Good God.
It was just horrific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just an absolute nightmare, an absolute nightmare. Um, well, the book is amazing. It's inspiring. It's filled with courage. It'll help you overcome your challenges in your life with the same kind of resiliency and the same kind of spirit, strength, and faith that Gaetana has shown throughout her life. The name of the book is To Hell and Back. It is a raw and inspiring memoir of survival, courage, and the unbreakable will to live. Gaetana, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad I spoke of the book and spoke to you in presenting it.
Well, I appreciate your time, your insight, and the wonderful work you've done on this book. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford for the Global Book Network. So long for now.